I found this thing in my food. It was just stuck to a piece of meat, it wasn't lodged into it or anything. Anyone know what it is? Cattle/pig microchip for meat traceability, I'd say. These really aren't supposed to get into food. If you're at a restaurant, I'd complain to the manager. If you bought the meat and cooked it yourself, I'd contact the purveyor. Solved. The meal was cooked at home. I thought it might be an RFID chip but wasn't too sure. These look identical to me. Thank you. Yeah, I'd contact whoever does the meat. The store where you bought it probably, unless you have a wrapper that says it's from Cargill or what have you. That's a glass tube. If they're getting through, the vendor really doesn't want a lawsuit from someone chomping down on that. You may get mad coupons or free hamburger for life or something. Found this under a cupboard. What is it? Cannabis grinder. It is a grinder too often used to turn large chunks of marijuana into more easily smoked smaller bits and pieces. Use it for spices if you don't smoke. Kinda handy. Holy macaroni. I never even thought of this. What a great idea. Growing in my sink drain. Collapses when I run the water. This is a picture when it is dry. I know it goes all the way down because my sink is not draining as well as it used to. Would love to be able to kill it. Not a mycologist but a microbiologist. Seems that the fungus has already been identified, but treating this yourself could lead to other detriments. It goes beyond your drain, and it will just continue to come back. Also, breaking up fungus generates an unbelievable amount of airborne spores, which can destroy your air quality and possibly cause harm. Call a professional ASAP. Hey first silver thanks stranger. Yo listen to this dude. Fungal spores in the air can lead to some very serious health risks, especially in a colony that large. Some dickhead drunk driver killed one of our neighbor's horses. I would appreciate it if I could find out what this car part went to. Looks like it came from a late 80s Plymouth Reliant. Plymouth and Chrysler had the same logo for a while in the 80s, so if it ends up not being a Plymouth, I'd also check some Chrysler models. Whoever did it most likely lives in the area. Drive around looking for that type vehicle with matching damage. I did the same thing once and found the car on the next road over from me. Just don't go onto someone's property or confront them. Inform the police and let them handle it. Found a rock on the porch of my new home, flipped it over and saw this. Is that a fossil? I live in SW, Pennsylvania and fossils are very common, but I'm not certain it is one. Looks almost like a chain link fence impression but it's part of the rock. Yup, that's a fossil. Tree trunk impression. You're in a coal mining area. It used to be pretty common for miners to find these and lots of other fossils and bring them home. They would end up being used as door stops, paperweights, porch decorations and garden art. My grandfather's house was loaded with them. Oddly enough, the house we just bought is very, very old, so I wouldn't even be surprised if some coal miner had brought this home to the house half a century ago or longer and that this fossil has just been kind of kicking around the house across multiple owners. Scanning family slides from 1964. This was over my parents' house in Texas. This looks very much like the residue of a rocket launch from Vandenberg that I saw in the 80s. It was done right at sunset so the sun lit the vapor/exhaust trail from underneath and the colors were just like this. Where in Texas? I wish I knew. I do know that Dad went straight into the Air Force after he graduated, so I imagine it's near an air base. I can try and find my mom's diploma to find the local college she went to. Rip my inbox. Yes, my dad was an amateur photographer. My daughter now owns his manual Nikons, several, and lenses from the 60s and 70s. He also has pictures of him, and of the shuttle/hangar, of the Space Shuttle Columbia as it was being built. I'll post those when I dig them up. He contracted with JPL in the 80s, and as I mentioned way down below, he was a captain in the AF at Wright-Patterson and saw a lot of cool experiments at the lab, and also handled the closed Project Blue Book files. He was a cool dude. Can confirm it's a rocket launch. Saw this exact same thing at my house a year ago. Better than any fireworks show I have ever seen. Found this in-house I'm tearing apart in a book like someone wanted to keep them. Don't think it's real money. It's money from Japan-occupied Philippines. Hold it up to the light, it has a rice plant watermark. Thanks for the info my dude. My grandfather gave me 10 pesos a while back. Here's the rice plant watermark and some more photos. Found in Airbnb. Thought it was an air freshener but looks to be a camera. Had tissue over it. It's part of a very sure security package, as seen on this page. Yes, have the similar system at my home. It's a camera with an IR tracker. It won't take pictures or record if the alarm isn't set off. Or so the Verisure guys told me. If it had tissue over it, it could well be that the owners thought to give you privacy rather than uninstall the security camera. Still, probably would have been worth them mentioning it. Or, previous guests did not want a camera watching them and put a tissue over it. I probably would have if I found it. Mom found this bullet on the beach about a year ago. How old is it and from what type of gun? This is a pre-1980.50 BMG bullet. You can tell because the bullet in question does not have a bow tail heel, which was a recent development in firearms from the 1980s forward. Most likely fired from a M2 Browning machine gun, as these guns would most often see action in the Navy. Although the GAU-19 might be a possible contender, it wouldn't be, because the GAU-19 only fired 50 calories with a bow tail. If you look at the grooves on the bullets, it exhibits a 8 lands and grooves right-handed twist, matching the original design of a Browning machine gun barrel. Good find, dude. Car part found in bicyclist hit and run fatality today. 1988 Chevy Silverado headlamp bezel. Check out the upper section. People keep asking how I knew this. I've been a Maryland state inspector for a long time, and part of each car and truck inspection up until recently was a mandatory headlamp adjustment. If I had to guess, I'd say someone from the Hoppy brand headlamp aim checker company probably bribed some politicians a long time ago, which made it mandatory for each station to buy their equipment to perform inspections. Anyhow, I've done a shit ton of headlamp adjustments, so right away I knew what that notch in the plastic was for. I first checked 1988 Ram 1500 trucks, and by chance, there was a picture of a mid-80s Chevy truck. Quick Google part search and copy and paste, and now from the comment section, I need to learn about URLs and queries and cache or something. I've been told to add this, I think. WSP detectives made an arrest today for Thursday's fatal bicyclist hit and run in Eatonville. Reddit users identify a photographed broken car part as a mid-1980s Chevy truck headlight assembly. Local anonymous tip confirms and led to the arrest of a driver of a 1986 Chevy K10. Trooper Jonna Batiste. Great job, Jeff's nuts. Doubtless there's a family out there that's grateful for your work bringing closure to this. Rain downspout in Prague. Modern art, it looks like a kidney. David Cerny's embryo. Found this in my grandmother's apartment. Is this a deactivated bomb or something? It looks like what you have there is a World War II era 81mm mortar. There is no fuse in the nose of it, and by all accounts it should be inert. However, if you look down the hole that should be in the nose and it's filled with a plastic somewhat smelly brownish material, it could still be live. On the other hand, if it's simply hollow or filled with metal, congratulations. It's inert and makes an excellent paperweight or bookend. Oh, my first Reddit silver. Thank you. Goodness me, gold. Yeah, but why would you want to keep any explosive ordnance near your home family property? The military doesn't store bombs in their barracks, do they? Please get on touch with the necessary people to get this checked out. Don't put yourself at risk. My license plate has been cloned and I'm receiving fines for their offenses. Anybody know what car would have these type of lights? Looks like it could be from a 2012 to 2014 Toyota Camry. The shape is similar and the outer part of the headlight is a projector beam. Also, the lights might look further apart than normal because of the Toll's camera lens. I think you're on the right track, but leaning more towards a 201X Ford Fusion. Source: I has one and it looks like that. The people at jalopnik.com are crazy good at identifying cars with little information. Maybe send them an email. Thank you, I'll look into it. What are these things and what are they doing? They are red slugs, and they'd probably like some privacy. They're mating. Okay, so I see the slugs, but what's the white balloon looking sac? Those are the slug's sex organs. It's normally inside their body but they extrude it to get it on. Google slug sex and you'll find plenty of explanations of how it all works. Knew a guy years ago who had mating slugs tattooed on his torso. Wonder how he's doing now.